Welcome to this episode of Adobe Live. I'm Flynn, and I was joined by letterer and calligrapher May Nguyen. What do we cover?
Hi, we cover an introduction to brush lettering and calligraphy.
Enjoy. Hey everyone, and welcome to this episode of Adobe Live. I am your host Flynn, and I'm excited to be joined by May Nguyen.
Hi everyone, I'm May. I'm so happy to be here.
It's great to have you here. And hello, chat. So if you're watching at home, if you're on Adobe APAC Live at the moment, watching the live show, you can log in and ask questions, interact. We've actually got a couple of interaction pieces that are going to come up as well. And so if you log in using your Adobe ID, it's just the information you use for your Creative Cloud account, just in the top right-hand corner, on adobeapaclive.com, you can ask us lots of questions. If you do manage to get into the chat, say hello. Let us know where you're from today. We're going live from Adobe in Sydney. And yeah, so, there'll be some people who already know you that are watching right now. But maybe for those who might not be familiar with your work, what's your kind of elevator pitch? Like, what do you do as a calligrapher and letterer?
Yep, so I'm a letterer and calligrapher, and I kind of dabble in design when needed. But I've been doing this for about 4 years, and I'm self-taught.
Yeah, self-taught. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, so I went to uni for about, let's say, 2 weeks, and I did visual communications, but I did not like university at all.
What didn't you like?
Just sort of theory, and I'm a very shy person, so I didn't like being in a classroom, but I did sit in a class called typography, and I knew, I was like, oh, this is what I really like. So with that information, I kind of just went home, and I was like, I'm gonna teach myself how to do this.
Wow.
And then here we are today.
That's cool.
So,
what did you start out with? Like, was it just pen and paper, or were you using digital stuff? Because you do both in your practice today. So
I started with pen and paper, and just with a pacer and a ballpoint pen, and I kind of just made it work until I knew about all the tools that were available, and then I just went out and bought them, and then just had fun with it, I guess.
Here you are on Adobe Live.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Yeah.
Awesome. Okay, great. Well, so just a reminder that you can log in and ask questions in the chat, right-hand corner, and feel free to ask some questions. We've got a little bit of interaction happening as well. This is actually some of your work behind us. I thought maybe we could start by checking out your feed, essentially, and some of your work.
So I'm using a Surface Pro here today, and we'll just go through. So I normally do analog work, so I'm very heavily based in actual calligraphy and hand lettering, but I do sometimes like to do something more digital, and I just use Adobe Sketch, and I just kind of make this. This one is a fake mural.
A fake mural?
Yeah. So I'm going to LA in about 5 weeks.
Oh, wow.
And I'm hoping to do a mural over there. So if anyone is out there that can help me, that would be great.
Wow, cool.
Yeah. And
we could probably connect you with some people in LA to see if we can find your wall.
That would be great.
Yeah, let's do it. Are you going to take paint over there? Like, how does that work?
Yeah, I'm just going to put a whole 5-litre bucket of paint in my luggage. Yeah, and it will just go from there.
It's like the heaviest carry-on in the world. Yeah, cool. I love the that one to the left that kind of wraps through the photo.
Yeah.
When you're doing this kind of work, do you take the photos as well? Do you use stock? What's your or is it a little bit of?
Normally it depends what I'm actually trying to photograph. So this one I wanted to really highlight the headphones, so I kind of went from there. But I do use photographs from Adobe Stock. But yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. And I do a lot of watercolor as well.
Nice. I love the way you stylize your shots. It's really cool.
I try,
but
it's hard to keep a consistent feed when you want to be creative in all different elements and whatnot.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I like using a lot of different colors. So I didn't want to restrict myself to one color palette.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Awesome. And hey, Festus, good to see you, mate.
Festus, it's so nice to meet you.
You're famous around here. Even our new guests are like, oh man, I hope this is a Festus.
I was going to be very upset if Festus didn't arrive.
Exactly. Good to see you. Lee, hello from the Philippines. That's awesome. Great to have you watching. I'm Chauvin. Is it French, your name?
Chauvin.
Chauvin? We're going to attempt But you said Peter as well, so maybe name's Peter. Yeah, but it's great to have you in the chat. Please do ask us questions as we go. Yeah, great. So maybe we could have a little bit of a chat and then we can get stuck into what we're going to do. So what are you going to show us today?
Okay, today we'll basically
You got heaps
going
of stuff.
through an introduction just so you know how to get started. I know there's like a lot of designers that may want to dabble in hand lettering to elevate their designs, and even photographers. But so what I started with was with just a paper and a pen, and how I did it in the beginning was it's called faux calligraphy.
Faux?
Yeah.
Like P-H-O or
no.
F-O? Like
F-A-U-X, like faux, like
oh, okay,
forks.
like fake.
Forks, yeah.
Okay, all right.
So it's like that, and then you kind of just, I'll show you through here,
Oh, cool.
and you kind of adding just different line weights. So it doesn't
Right.
matter if you don't have these materials, but it's a good way to start.
So we were talking a little bit before.
Yeah.
If you have terrible handwriting, can you still be a letterer and calligrapher?
Definitely, it just takes a lot of practice. So my
Right.
handwriting is terrible. I write really quickly,
Yeah.
just to jot down my notes, but this is very purposed
Right.
lettering. Like
Right.
you
Like
take
it's
it in-
intentional.
Yeah,
you're taking
intentional.
care.
Yeah, that's the word.
Cool.
Yeah.
I just picked a word that was easy to pronounce.
So this is what this was actually my first brush pen that I learned with.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, as you can see there, this is called a brush tip.
Right.
And normally if there's different firmness of them. So this is a medium, and there's also soft and hard. Soft,
Are they totally different pens?
yeah.
Yeah.
So I have like a whole box of pens,
Right.
and they're just different. They're the same, but they're different.
Okay.
Yeah. So this is called a brush pen, and these are also called brush pens, but these actually have watercolor in them, so they look very vibrant.
Right. They're
As
noisy.
you can see, yeah. Some people like it, some people hate it.
Right.
But yeah, so there's a lot of different pens that you can use, and they kind of just make different looks, I guess.
Right.
But yeah, if the audience wants to throw in a word that I could write, that could be fun.
Send through a word, or we're just going to default to doing Festus, I think. But yes, send something through. Hey, Tiok from Malaysia. That's super cool.
Hey,
Good to see you there.
maybe let's just do Festus because he's an honorary.
Awesome. He is. He's part of the team at this point.
Yeah.
Yep.
So I'll just put that in shot. And I'm not sure if you can hear the squeaking through the camera.
There we go.
Yeah. Maybe I'll go through the difference between calligraphy and hand lettering.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Great.
So basically, there's like so many different definitions on the website. Like I looked this morning just to like make sure, but then I got even more confused. So I questioned myself. But this is what I've learned over the years. Lettering is basically creating letters, like drawing letters, using digital form. Hand lettering is when you use different pens and paintbrushes. Yeah,
I'm with you
to
so
create
far.
to draw letters, still drawing letters. And calligraphy is when you use an actual pen holder, and it has to have a nib, and you have to be using an ink.
Right.
So all hand lettering derives from calligraphy. So we're trying to mimic calligraphy when we're doing hand lettering.
Right.
So if you want to learn, you're kind of best off learning calligraphy first, which is like the hardest thing to do, but it's a good basis.
Is that the way that you started? Did you kind of find out that you felt like you needed to do calligraphy first and then kind of expand out into
So
lettering?
I started using faux calligraphy, but then I didn't really, I was kind of just winging it. When I started learning calligraphy, it kind of taught me the basics and what not to do. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. So maybe we'll just jump right into it.
we're jumping into Photoshop.
Yep.
Cool.
Sorry, I'm just going to remove my keyboard and then just pop.
When you moved your keyboard, it jumped into
Yeah.
Illustrator.
And I don't know how to use this because it's like everything's like so zoomed in.
So what are you using? What device are you using, by the way?
This is the Surface Pro, and I'm going to be using the Surface Pen as well.
Right.
Which is
So you draw
right there.
straight on the screen?
Yep, straight on the screen. Okay, maybe I'll go through the autonomy of letters first.
Cool. So we're in Photoshop now.
Yep, we're just using Photoshop. And I like this surface because I can just like push it right down to kind of mimic a piece of paper.
Right.
Just kind of. Okay, normally when you're lettering, you just have 4 lines, and then this is called the X height. This is called the descender. Oops. As you can see, my lettering.
I love it.
My
You did that
handwriting
just
is
you did that just to demonstrate
Yeah.
for our benefit, didn't you?
just so the people can have some hope if they have ugly handwriting. This is called an ascender. Oop, if I know how to spell that.
Shout out to my graphic designers out there. Hey Lars in the chat. Nice to see you.
So normally when you're doing an ascender, you want it to hit the top and then keep the core of the letter inside the X height.
Right.
Yep. And this is important because when you're doing lettering, when you want to change up the style and whatnot, it's important to know so you can change and kind of understand the characteristics.
Characteristics, yes.
I had trouble saying that before too.
You get it, chat. Chat understands.
Yeah.
Yeah, Festus was saying, you noticed a while ago, a lot of movie posters pre-80s had hand-lettered text.
Yeah.
I think that's coming back.
Yeah, it's
like
coming back.
That kind of style.
When I first started like 4 years ago, it wasn't as popular
Yeah.
in Australia, but now it's like grown a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah. So this little introduction might be helpful for a lot of people to get them started. Okay. So I've created a template here. I think you can just
Cool.
there's a link. There'll be a link in the chat, and then you can just go and download it.
Yeah. Yep. So there should be a Dropbox link. Well, there will be a link, and there should be some files in there, and this is one of them. So these are some templates that May has very kindly created and given for us, so we can practice at home. So if you wanted to, feel free to download those. They'll be available for a while.
Feel free to tag me, and I'll go have a look at your work.
Check it out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we're going to go through the basic strokes right now. This seems very simple, but I think this is very important to understanding the letters. And this is where you understand where a lot of people go wrong. There's no wrong way, but once you understand the basis, I think it's important.
It's like the foundation to like doing lettering.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so this is called a light stroke, which is when you want the pen to be kind of upwards like this when you're writing. Just the tip is touching the pen.
Right.
The screen or the paper.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna turn on. So we're gonna just use a hard round brush.
Is this a standard Photoshop brush or is this a downloaded?
So I'm just using the standard, but there is also Kalte's brushes, and he has an actual calligraphy one with pressure sensitivity.
Oh, fancy.
Yeah.
It does look like a music sheet. Like a music template. Yeah, anyone that ever did music.
So I'm just going to turn on the opacity, which kind of makes it mimic watercolor, where it's like see-through in some places and not see-through. Right. Yeah. And I'm going to turn on a little bit of smoothing, which is basically makes like the line more straight the more I turn it up.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm going to turn on pressure sensitivity as well.
Cool.
So with a light stroke, you're just pressing really light. This seems like really simple, but this is like one of the hardest bits to like perfect when you're actually doing lettering.
Right.
Because when you're doing calligraphy, you need the thin and thick lines to be like really standing out.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And when you're doing the downstroke, you're just pressing really hard. So this is a light stroke and then a hard stroke.
Right. So same brush, all the same settings.
Yeah.
It's just about the pressure that you're
Yeah.
applying.
Yeah.
Using the pen.
And the Surface Pro mimics that pretty closely, I guess. So I think one thing that people might find difficult is doing a hard stroke, like to transforming it to a light stroke. Like, see, even I had trouble doing that. So that's why it's good to warm up.
So this is like you're stretching before
basically.
for the big game, right? Or this is your chords, to use the music metaphor
Yeah.
that we brought up previously. So why would you do a thick stroke and then a thin stroke rather than a consistent stroke the entire time?
So with brush lettering, it's basically mimicking calligraphy. And this is like a traditional method where the nib actually like spreads into a thick and then a thin.
Right.
So I think it's just copying that. But more modern, I guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool.
And I think it adds a little bit of dimension as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. So we're just doing this. Like, it's very important to practice. And there's like 2 pages that you guys can go through. Like, to make it even more difficult. It's like very mathematical, I guess.
Right.
Where you gotta press hard over here and then light over here. But if you want this to be smooth, you kind of have to gradually press down. A lot of people lift too early or lift too late.
Wow.
So the bottom kind of looks heavy. Like heavy over here and then light over here.
Right.
So
it's a practice thing.
Yeah. So I was only a little bit good when I first started. And then I kind of practiced a lot. So, and then here I am today. And I can just like write it really quickly.
Right.
It kind of becomes like muscle memory, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We were joking before, it's like kind of your handwriting if we're writing a letter every day.
Yeah. If you guys have any questions, please feel free to send them through. Happy to answer anything. So this is a template for an actual brush lettering, which derives from calligraphy, and it's just like a basic font that you kind of learn from, I guess.
Right. So is this template, like the all these letters behind it? They're obviously, that's brush that you've done. Is it based on a font? Like, will you often bring up an actual font and then kind of use that as the basis of creating like an alphabet or? So
when I first started, I kind of just went to Duff font and then I downloaded it heaps, and then I kind of made my own templates using those fonts.
Right. And
then I learnt them, and then I think over time I thought this was just like a basic one that I could make. But this is like my normal brush lettering font, not really a font though.
Right.
Yeah.
Could you do this off by heart now?
Yeah.
Because you do it so often?
Yeah, I can do it with my eyes closed.
You just do it in your sleep and have dreams about ascenders and descenders and things like that? Yeah.
Like nerdy things.
Yeah. That's right, you're in the right place. I love that F. It's cool.
F for Flynn.
F for Festus. He's more popular around here than I am, so.
You should have Festus on.
We should. So he's in Wellington.
Wellington.
You're right, I'm going to Wellington. So Lars was asking, how much time did you spend practicing a day?
So So when I first started, I would come from like my 9 to 5, and then I would get right into it because I just like liked it so much, and then I would like do it after work all the way until like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Oh my gosh.
Not because I wanted to be like good, but just because like I enjoyed it.
You enjoyed it so much that you...
It's like really relaxing, and you kind of just you're in the moment trying to create letters. Yeah.
Well, that's when you know you found that thing that you really want to do. If you're spending your free time.
Yeah.
And you just kind of can't put it down.
And then, so luckily I found a career. Not yet, but we'll be at a full-time thing soon.
Yeah. That's awesome. Have some questions. For Ashu's asking, for practice, how slow or how much time should be spent on writing a single character? It's a good question. Like, I would be thinking, do I have to perfect this? Or do I just try to do it 10,000 times and hope that the 10,000th one is closer to perfection?
So I've taught a few people, and when I see them writing, they're very quick to like try and get it done.
Right.
So they kind of do it in one movement, like that. When you should be like kind of slowing down at first to do one, and then that's a 2. It's like a 2-step thing.
Right.
So I think it's once you understand that there should be more than one movement in like one letter, then you can kind of like speed it up.
Right. Okay. That's cool.
Sadhan is asking what digital pen I'm using. Are you referring to this?
I think so.
Yeah. So this is the Surface Pen from Microsoft. And it's cool because it comes with like different tips that you could use.
Like so?
Yeah. I'm using the smooth one, which is basically like a plastic. So it's when I'm doing calligraphy, it's very smooth.
Yeah, it seems like quite fast, that one. Is that your go-to, or do you use the others a lot, or do you mostly you have your favorite?
Yeah. The original one was in here originally, and then I just changed it out and then never changed it back.
Right, yeah. You found the one that you like. It's like illustrators that we've had on the show as well.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people ask them, do you use lots and lots of brushes? And say, actually, most of the time I use like this one brush, and that's all I use because it's where I'm really comfortable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Festus, we're getting this music thing going, aren't we? It's like practicing an instrument. It is. It's kind of like, that 10,000 hours rule. Do we know that? We know about that? So the idea is that anything that you're interested in, you have to clock if you can manage to practice it for 10,000 hours.
10,000 hours.
And that's how long it takes to be a master.
How many days is that?
I have no idea.
Can someone do the calculations?
I haven't done it. I have no skills.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so I just, hear from other talented people that that's how long it takes. I think it adds up to be quite a lot. Like, I think it's like half a lifetime of, like...
10,000.
Short life.
Yeah,
like, if you die at 30, something like that. Madeline was asking, how did you get your first hand lettering job?
It was actually a logo that I did. And the client wanted me to do a streetwear kind of logo with my handwriting.
Like a little graffiti style?
Yeah.
Right.
It was just initials, but so I did hand lettering, and then I just transferred it into AI. And then I learned all this like on the spot. And I remember this because me and my friends went out to dinner that night because I had to celebrate my first client.
Yes, that's awesome.
But yeah.
Did you pick up the bill with like your paid work? No, they should have taken you out.
It wasn't that much.
It wasn't enough, yeah.
When people start out, they're probably they always undercharge.
Of course.
Yeah.
Oh,
but I was just starting out, so it was okay. I was just happy that I could be making money.
That's an amazing achievement, I think. I remember my very first graphic design job and everything. I just couldn't believe that I was being paid to do the thing I really like to do.
Yeah.
So I know that feeling. I'm sure many people in the chat do know that sort of feeling as well.
Okay. I think I should go through the first line just to get a feeling. So I have the opacity turned on, and then I'm also going to turn on smoothing and then the pressure. And this will mimic a watercolor brush pen.
Right, okay.
So that would be this one. So when you're starting out, it's important to take the time to really do each movement, and then over time when you get you understand the letter better, you can do it quickly.
Right.
So you can kind of see where I'm pressing hard and light because it gets very faint around there. So,
Yeah, I like that effect. What was that again? It was the transparency that you turned on?
Yeah.
Yeah, really like that.
And then, so we're going to go hard and then light and then hard again. Light, hard, and then light. And it's cool that the Surface Pen can do this because sometimes when I don't have pens available, then I can just use this and it's kind of like the same thing, but not really.
Mm.
Dark, light, dark,
Yeah.
light.
Liv's bill sharing app. You could have used that yet. That is well done remembering that. We had Olivia King, who's a user experience designer, amongst many other things, very talented. And she created a sharing app here on the show, which was all about when you go out with your friends.
Yeah.
Like designing an app so you can just easily share, like
okay.
split the bill without being a pain in the butt. I was saying you could have used that. So.
No, I just let them take me out.
Yeah,
that was all right.
Totally, that's fine. It's even better. Yeah.
But yeah, understanding all the basics is very important. So when you do get up to the part when you can kind of develop your own style, you can use that and then kind of add your own flair to it.
Oh, now we're getting fancy.
Yeah.
Wow.
And the smoothing tool makes it look like really soft. I'll show you what it looks like without. And this might be useful if you don't need it to be smooth, like if you're trying to create like texture. So I'll do. See, not as smooth.
Mm. So smoothing's definitely something to play with, something to turn up quite a lot.
Yeah.
How much do you normally have it turned up? 100%?
100%.
Smooth it out? Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But when you have it at 100%, the pen might lag a little bit, but I think that's because of the computer.
Yeah, it's the live stream situation because we're sending your screen to lots of
So if
computers
you're
at the
noticing
moment.
that, that's what it is.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Festus actually Fresco will be out very soon, and we're going to be covering it here, which is a new mobile app that will be out by Adobe. So if you keep watching Adobe Live, we'll definitely be showing you as soon as we can, which is a lot of watercolors and things like that. Yeah, so that's coming soon.
I'm excited to try that as well because I use Adobe Sketch a lot too, but it's not available on this Surface Pro yet. Yeah. So someone's asking how the Surface Pen compares to the Wacom tablet. When I first started out, I did have the Wacom tablet first, but it didn't work for me because I'm like the screen is like down here and I'm looking here, so I don't know like really what I'm doing.
You like to
I like
draw
to
on
like
the screen.
Yeah. So it mimics paper the most.
Sadana was asking, is this the latest version of Photoshop? Yep.
Yes,
I think you're using Creative Cloud. So we're going to do some library stuff soon, I think, as well. So you'll see that. Ganesh was asking, what is the purpose of the dotted line between the X height?
Which one is that?
That dotted one right in the middle, I think. It's just an extra guide, isn't it?
Yeah, I think that's just like a midpoint.
Right.
Yeah. Because I think...
the tip of your flourishes on your ends and O's all hit that middle mark. So.
Yeah. And it's also for when you need the K to hit like right there. Mm-hmm. I haven't done that over here. But it hits there too.
Right.
The O.
Is it about just consistency when you're kind of creating this and practicing this sort of thing?
When you're learning, you kind of want consistency until you can find like your own style, basically. Cool. I think we can take some suggestions from the audience now. If you have any words you want me to write or in like a particular style, I can kind of go through the characteristics of those.
So you're going to write a word kind of in this sort of style?
Yeah.
And we need a word from chat?
Yes, please.
Okay, guys. Hit us up with a word. We just use Festus for everything. No, we won't do that. We'll stop picking on Festus. Let us know a word for maybe a Maybe a word with lots of ascenders and descenders would be cool.
Yeah. And also, I see Lee asked what basic calligraphy tools to begin with. So this is pretty basic. It's just a Speedball calligraphy oblique pen. And this is like $6. And there's like really fancy ones that go up to like $300. But
Oh my gosh.
yeah, like it doesn't really matter.
Wow.
Like this is like perfect for me to use. I always use this one. And you just got to get a nib. I use a Nikko G nib, which I find was the easiest to learn with. And you can get this from Kinokuniya, from the CBD, or Dimmix.
Love Kinokuniya.
Yeah. Is that how you say it?
I could be wrong. Yeah, that's how I say it. Kinokuniya?
Kinokuniya?
Yeah, I'm sure yours is way more accurate than mine.
I don't know too though.
You knew what I meant though.
Yeah.
So that's cool.
Magic.
We got some suggestions. Magic, typography. We might use some of these in a little bit again, so keep them coming.
Oops.
Wellington would be very fancy. You could do a lot with a big capital W. Did you want to go with the first, magic?
Yeah, magic.
Is that the goal? Cool.
Okay. So when I think of a
Kamehameha.
word, I kind of try to like tie the lettering back to the word, so
Okay.
it kind of relates somehow. So magic is very like whimsical, I guess. And I always try to keep my spacing, which is called kerning, consistent. And these things are called flourishing.
And how do you decide on the flourish? Like, do you kind of have an idea of where it's all going to go the first thing? Because that's very quick.
Yeah.
Lots
like,
of practice, I suppose.
I always like stick with the same flourishing because I know it works. I always go down and over and then
Right.
over like that. And I kind of do it in like so I imagine a circle.
Oh, okay.
So it doesn't kind of go like everywhere.
Oh, that's a cool tip. I like that.
So I always keep in the circle and then like that.
Ah.
Just so it doesn't get too messy,
Right.
I guess. Oops. Oh, yep, next word.
The next one was typography.
Typography. Oh, that's a long one.
It's a long one.
Maybe I'll show you one of Carl's brushes.
Oh, I think I might have missed that question. Archie B, is only a rounded brush suitable for brush lettering? That's a good question. Like, do you ever use like chisel brushes or any other type of brush, or is round the best?
I guess it depends on what style you want to go with, but this one is very pointed, so it's like a pointed brush. This would help, like it'll make the light strokes very thin. And then if you're going for a round one, obviously it won't be as thin. It will just be the width of the actual pen.
Right. So you could use lots.
Yeah.
You know, pretty
Just
much
depending
anything.
on what kind of style you want to go with.
Would you suggest like people that are just beginning to just try lots of different brush tips to get started once they've graduated on from using the calligraphy tools?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would just, there's only like 5 brush brands that are like top line.
Right.
Yeah, so I just went out and bought all of them.
That's your solution? I'll just buy all
Yeah,
5.
I just got to have them all.
I like it. The shotgun approach to calligraphy.
Yeah.
Very good. Yeah, we should have said Adobe Live, shouldn't we? Got a free logo. Are you going to? So sorry, I'm interrupting you so much with my questions.
That's okay.
You're going to go with typography? Is that
Yes,
where we
okay.
ended up?
Okay, I'm going
Like Kamehameha, Dragon Ball Z fan in the audience, kindred spirit.
typography.
That's a word for Jeremy Lord, the illustrator, when he comes back on. I think you'll find a Dragon Ball Z fan in him.
Typography. Maybe I'll do this style a little bit tighter. So when I say that, I mean like the letters are closer together, which makes it look, the lettering look more fast, I guess.
Right.
You See there, I put too much of a space right there.
Yeah, someone in chat was mentioning it must be quite hard to manage that.
Yeah.
And also practice to see it very quickly, like seeing it as you do it rather than seeing it at the end thinking, oh, it just doesn't quite look right and having to start from scratch again.
But that's the great thing about doing it on a device. You can just Control Z.
Control Z.
Yeah.
I know. I wish I had Control Z in my life.
But if you're doing it on paper, it's good to kind of just to slow down and you relax, I guess.
Right.
I'm going to add a flourish here.
Oh, cool. I love that.
Then a flourish here.
Fancy. I love it. Very cool. Oh, Sadhana was asking what's the brand name of the oblique pen?
Yep. So it's just Speedball. You can see my...
Oh, this is awesome. You can just write it out. This is how we'll communicate with chat from now on. Speedball.
We'll just talk through here.
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
And maybe I'll get you to do a little bit of live
Oh, we are going to
calligraphy.
get... Yeah, okay.
Yeah? He said he didn't want to do this because he didn't want to embarrass himself.
I promise I'll embarrass myself. It's fine.
Okay.
So, ladies and gentlemen, how not to do calligraphy.
Okay, maybe you can look at...
Make sure you give me a word I can spell. I don't want to add that layer of embarrassment.
Okay, maybe you can do an
Okay.
A.
Okay, just straight on the screen.
So
Oh, there's no camera on me, is there?
No, but just two
All right.
movements.
Can I have some practice room
Yeah,
up
yeah.
in the top hand corner where no one can see?
We're doing this just so if you guys do it at home.
Just to make everyone at home feel better about
Yeah.
trying things for the first time.
No, because they might be on the same page you are,
Right,
literally.
which is page 1.
Yeah,
How am I doing?
that's okay.
It's just okay. It's what you want.
And I'll kind of be the teacher here and show you how you can
Great.
kind of improve, I guess. Yep. So down strokes, the rule I like to use is when you're bringing the pen towards your body, you just press really hard. And then when it's going away from your body, you kind of have the pen almost like upright. Better?
So what happens if I'm getting worse? Is that a problem?
No,
You're
it
gonna
just
take the
means
pen
you
away
need
from me?
double training.
Right, double the amount of training.
Yeah. Okay. Okay then.
Okay. Okay, we should
Okay.
show the audience.
So this is what he has done. Very. No, this is how
This
a lot
is
of.
taking me back to year 1 at
this is
design
good.
school.
This is good. So what we can see here is that he hasn't pressed on the brush pen hard enough.
Right.
So this is how it should look. And there's, oh, that's not how it should look. This is how it should. If you really want to highlight the thin and thick widths.
Right.
So you can see here your width is fully thick.
Yep.
When you kind of want to lift your pen right here and right here, these areas.
Right.
So you'd lift it and then gradually press it down softly.
Okay.
And then you can have that thick and then you lift it about here again.
Right.
Yeah.
Some homework.
Yeah.
Homework for me.
But I'll just grab another word just so I can show you how this differs from analog.
Cool. Lars, getting zen in the chat. You can only get worse if you run out of patience. You are
That's
absolutely
100%.
correct. Absolutely right.
Call it.
Oh, calligraffiti. I have a book, Calligraffiti. You might be talking about the same thing.
You have a book? Did you? Were
It's
you
like a
interested?
graffiti book. Yeah.
So this is called a water brush pen. And when you turn on the actual opacity of your pen on here, you can kind of just mimic that.
Right.
up so you can see. Oops. Oops.
Just another 9,999 hours. Yep. It's going to be the most boring 9,999 hour live stream you have ever seen. Just me doing A's incorrectly.
Yeah.
To chill hop in the background.
Oh, is there music playing in the background?
Yeah, we can't hear it here, but yeah, they get the benefit of chill hop. Do you listen to music while you're...
Yeah.
Yep.
Probably lo-fi, chill hop as
Oh,
well.
right, yeah, same stuff. Shout out to chill hop. Awesome.
So do we want to go ahead to the actual... We're going to do some 3D lettering where I show you guys how to
Cool.
add some dimension to your work.
Yep, let's check it out.
Yep. Okay, so we have 3 pictures here, which you guys can choose from. We have the beach,
Right, beach,
the city,
city,
and the Taj Mahal.
and Taj Mahal, which you don't have to spell. So we worked out, we did a bit of a survey here at Adobe Live, and we weren't entirely sure how to spell Taj Mahal without Google. So we'll get you all off the hook. Beach, if you could type in chat, beach, city, or Taj, just T-H-A, then, you could actually, you know what? We might have some Indian folks in the audience as well, some people from the region who probably can spell it perfectly. So, of course, go ahead and pick one of those 3, and we'll just pick whichever one seems to be gathering the most traction. And then you're going to show us kind of the way that you manipulate type within photos.
Yeah.
Which I've seen a couple of times in your feed. It's what we use as a hero image, I think, to promote this episode as well. It's super cool.
Yeah, I love mixing it because I can kind of just take the time to put in the lettering and then I can kind of erase it to make it look like it's lettering in real life, basically. Right. Yeah.
Lettering IRL. Cool.
Yep, in Taj Mahal.
Yep.
We also had a debate whether this was actually the Taj Mahal.
I feel like some of our friends in India would have corrected us immediately if it was wrong. Just wanted to make sure. I think looks like Taj Mahal
Yep. Okay.
is going ahead.
So we'll just bring all these images were from Adobe Stock, and you could just purchase the pictures live from their website. And if you press save, it will go straight into your library, and you can just kind of drag it over.
Yep. It's pretty easy these days.
Too easy. So again, I'm going to use the hard brush, and maybe we'll just write... Oh, this photo is photoshopped. So I'll just clean this up. So I'll probably just write Mahal. That's okay. I'll get a white brush. And I'm going to turn off the opacity. So normally when I'm doing this, I kind of just roughly sketch in what I'm going to do. How do I spell? Did I spell that? Wrong.
You can use chat as a reference, which is great.
So I'm just going to Control T this and move it to where I want. When I'm doing this, I kind of want the picture to show a bit, but I don't want the letters to kind of get lost. So it's important where you put the letters, because this can be easily mistaken as a B if you put it too low.
Right, so if you cover up too much of the text, it becomes a little bit illegible.
Yeah.
Right.
I'm going to just make this smaller. Oops. Okay, that seems good there. And then I just create a new layer. And then what I normally do is I put this opacity down so I can see where I'm writing, and then I'll go over again. Oops.
So the first one was a bit of a guide.
Yeah.
Just for the very beginning.
And I think I'm going to add a flourish there. But normally when I'm doing these pictures, I normally spend hours. Like I'll just sit down and watch a movie in bed.
Right.
And then I'll just kind of go over and over and over again.
Right.
Until I get what I want.
Do you have to focus really hard on that, or can you just totally tune out and it's just kind of like just feeling it out?
Because
doing
I've
the
been
manual.
doing it for so long, I can kind of just tune it out, and it's very, like very relaxing. So I think I'm happy with that. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that layer, and then you're left with that. And then I'm pretty sure there's like a faster way to do this, but I actually just go in like with a rubber and I just take out everything. It's
the Adobe Live disclaimer that everybody gives, which is I'm sure there's other ways to do this, but this is the way that I do it. It's fine. Everybody says
we're all friends here, so there's no judgment.
Yeah, and we learn from each other by sharing.
But everyone has their own process.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And look, Photoshop's been around for a very long time. There's lots of ways to do lots and lots of things. I don't know very many people that know everything. And I think those people that I think know everything say, I don't know everything. Yeah.
So it's actually cool because the Surface Pen actually has like a rubber on the back if you like really quickly need to.
Oh, you can just like physically flip it around and rub stuff out.
Yeah, so cool. But, oops, that's not a rubber. And also I turn the opacity of this down so I can see the background, so I can see what I'm rubbing out. So I'll go ahead and rub that. I think, again, you can just go in with the Magic Quick Selection and then select the actual tower and then just copy and then put it on top. But I like doing it the long way.
It this way?
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, Festus was mentioning layer masks as well. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
Feel free to ask me any questions while I do this.
Yeah, we are getting towards the end, so if you guys do have any questions about May's work or calligraphy, lettering or anything like that, now's the time to send them through and we'll see if we can get to them before we finish up.
Like hand lettering has been like so popular within like the last 2 years. And it's like really interesting to see because it's like very relaxing. So I think it's just, even if you don't want to do it professionally, you can just like do it for fun.
You really enjoy doing it, don't you?
Yeah. Because I said do it for fun.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is like my Saturday night, you know.
If you were going to do the wall in LA, what would you write?
Something about dreaming.
Something about dreaming.
Or like chase your dreams or something like that.
So when you're doing something like that, like if you are traveling, have you ever kind of done that and said, oh, hey, by the way, I'm going to be in Melbourne, for example, and said, hey, is there any walls I can paint? Has that happened yet? Or is this going to be the first time? We're going to make it happen this time?
I want to make it happen this time. So this time I'm actually solo traveling for 5 weeks to LA.
Right.
And then 3 weeks to the UK. And the purpose of it is to kind of feel what it feels like to actually be full-time freelancing, I guess. So the purpose is just to find jobs.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. We'll find your wall.
I actually did a mock-up of the famous Paul Frank pink Melrose wall.
Right.
And I wrote Cali Dreaming on it.
Oh, cool. Oh, that was the mock-up?
Yeah, that was the mock-up I did.
I like that. It's like
so
a little
I'm planning
preview.
I'm planning
this could be you.
doing like a lot of mock-ups and then just sending it to local businesses that have available walls.
That's a good idea. And like tagging people on Instagram, I guess.
Yeah, so
I was going to say social media, but let's face it, it's Instagram. Ganesh was saying, actually, he'd love to see something with the actual calligraphy nib. Do you have ink with you?
I do.
Do you want to have a play at that? After,
Yeah.
when you're done here, I think we'll probably have time for that.
Yeah, sure.
If you guys want to see that. I want to see that.
And then you can have
Where
a
it all
try
started.
too. I was trying to explain to my parents this morning who Adobe is, and they were like,
Right.
whatever. And I'm like, no, they're really big. This is like a big opportunity for me. Okay. So I think that's good.
That's cool.
Right? Yeah. So I'm going to turn the opacity up again so we can see it. And then what I normally do to create some layers is I duplicate the layer, and then I'm obviously one of those people who don't name the layers.
Right. No gold star from the Adobe team.
Don't trust people who name their layers.
Don't trust them. What? I have a sneaking feeling that a lot of people that do come on, they're like, yeah, I totally label all my layers. I feel like sometimes they go home and they're like, I don't really. You should label your layers.
So I'm just going to select that layer I just duplicated, and then I'm going to move it. Oops. I'm going to try to move it. Just a 1/4 inch. I think 1/4 inch that way. And then that just gives it like a slight backdrop.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll go through the calligraphy nib.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
Let's check it out.
I'll just move this.
Yeah, Festus, it doesn't count if you call them test 2, test 1. That's like my file naming system sometimes. Final, copy 7.
Okay. So this is the ink.
Cool.
And this is like very traditional.
Traditional ink?
No, calligraphy.
Calligraphy, right.
So I
Like,
think
cool, traditional ink.
this is like the hardest to learn because it's actually like, it feels like very fragile. And I actually, normally I hold my pen like this. When I was learning calligraphy, I had to kind of change up my grip to hold it like that as opposed to like that.
Right. I think my year 2 teacher will call that choking your pen, which is exactly what I still do to this day.
It's so funny because
I never got my pen license.
on Instagram, when I first started, I did a lot of like viral videos, and then people would be like so upset in the comments because I was holding my pen like this.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, and then that's why I learned this, but then it kind of worked out because it's easier to hold it like this anyway.
Right.
Okay, so this is a speedball oblique holder, and this is a nib. So it's basically light strokes and hard strokes again, or downward strokes are light. Don't know if you can see that. Oops. Like, as you can see, I need a little bit of practice because that didn't come out smooth, but that's what the warm-ups are for,
Right.
the basic strokes. So I'll probably spend like 5 minutes just going over and then doing this. Oops. And I also practice A's. When the ink doesn't come out very evenly, that means the nib is a little bit dirty.
All right.
So that's what's happening right now. Okay, should we get a word?
Oh, we had so many words from before. We could recycle one maybe.
Yeah.
What do we have? Oh. No, we need a new word.
Let's just grab a name. Maybe Deepak.
Deepak.
So when you're doing traditional calligraphy, there's like different fonts that you can actually follow, but I haven't actually like committed to learning one yet because it's so difficult.
Right.
Like there's like whole books on just one font.
Wow.
Yeah, and I haven't committed, but I've come up with my own font. So Deepak, I said. So downstrokes are heavy, and then light strokes. Oops. Maybe I should have washed this before.
Is this normal paper or is this some sort of special?
This is a smooth paper. So when you're doing calligraphy, it's best to get a smooth paper so the ink doesn't actually seep in and bleed all over the page.
Right.
Yeah.
So it is special paper.
It's only like $11 a packet, as opposed to $3.
How many pieces of paper in a packet?
250.
I guess that's a lot of practice.
Yeah.
That's a lot of little A's, isn't it, for me?
Yeah.
Even I might be good by the end of 250 pages of little A's.
So this is me not having any drills or anything. So you can
cool.
see it's kind of light and the lines are like really wobbly. I don't think you can see that on the camera. But after I get my hand warmed up, I'm better.
Right.
I swear.
So it is practice. It's good because it illustrates, pun intended, your like the whole point of like practicing before you kind of do that when you're doing the analog version of lettering and calligraphy. Yeah. Cool. Awesome. We're pretty close to the end. I love that we've kind of gone around to so many different ways of doing lettering from beginning and practicing and warming up and kind of doing your due diligence to practice the art. Do you have any like advice for people maybe that are watching that might want to get into calligraphy or lettering? Like any kind of general advice?
I think I meet a lot of people and they always say they really want to learn, but I think they're afraid to put in the time it takes.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you just got to sit down and do your drills maybe for like an hour and then you'll realize that, okay, I'm all right at this. And then you can go from there.
And that's how it's done.
Yeah.
It's pretty cool. So practice.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to get involved. Put on something in the background and
and just like put yourself into it. And I think it's important for people to be creative because you can kind of escape, and that's what I've used calligraphy as because it's very mindful. And then maybe something may come of it. If not, that's okay too.
You can still just do it for yourself. Do it for fun.
For fun, yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I did it for in the beginning anyway.
Yeah. It's pretty cool. Get to do the thing that you really, really love to do.
Yeah.
As you used air quotes, so I use air quotes, career, but I'm pretty sure you're already there.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, chat. Thanks for participating and giving us some suggestions and things like that. Thanks for the great questions. Where can people find more of your work?
You can hop onto my Instagram at Mayraki and feel free to leave a comment and say you were here so I know that you were watching.
Awesome. And we'll follow your LA and UK adventure.
Yes. Be on the lookout for that.
Awesome. Well, thanks everybody and we'll see you on the next Adobe Live.
Thank you. Bye.